like, wow, okay, so where would I place my money so that I can benefit from that? Now, I know I'm talking about shares and mining and buying companies, and that might not be where some of you are at the moment. But what I'm going to see if I can get to during this class is to get you to look at that if you're willing to have an awareness of everything that's going on in the world regarding money, because all money and banking and finance is interconnected and interwoven in the world. So when there's a flood happens in Queensland, that affects lots of other things, lots of other money and the way money moves and flows in the world. And if you're willing to have and look and be aware of those sorts of things, then you can make large amounts of money from large amounts of change. Most of us have the point of view that, many people, let me put it that way, many people have the point of view that we go to work and that's where our main source of money comes from. And can I ask, did anybody listen to the gold telecall that I did? No? No? Okay, some have and some haven't. So I'll just cover one thing that was on that call that's sort of relative to this. And that is, there's the money that we have, the paper money that we have. I looked on the New Zealand dollars today to see if I could read it, but possibly it's written in Maori, I'm not sure. I didn't quite understand that. It might be something else as well. But on the American dollar bill, on the Australian dollar bill, in the British bills, there is a phrase that says, "This is legal tender for all debt, public and private." That's on the American bill. In Australia it says, "This is legal tender in all Australian states and its territories." So it's describing what that piece of paper is, what that bill is. And so what you get from the American bill is that this is legal tender for all debt, public and private. Now I always thought that was money. I always thought that paper stuff that we work for and we get in our pay packets was money. I thought that it was wealth. I thought that that's what you strive for in life, to go to work hard, get an education, do all the right things so that you can earn that money. But when you look at it, I'll read you out I've got the description here of legal tender, and we'll see where that takes us. It says, money is legal tender when creditors are legally obliged to accept it in payment of debt. The words, "This note is legal tender for all debts, private and public," appears on all Federal Reserve notes, so it's the American dollar, meaning that these notes are acceptable in payment of taxes or other obligations owed to the government, and also that creditors must accept the notes in payment of all private debts. Now there's more here. It goes on to explain the history and the English system where that came from. But what you get from that is that this money, this paper that we have, is designed to pay debts. It's not designed for you to have wealth and money. It's something that you can, it's like you've come here to this class and there's a fee. So when you agreed to come to the class, you were obligated to pay the $85. So you used legal tender to pay that. And money, legal tender that we have is designed to pay our debts, our taxes, and things that we're obligated to. Now what we don't get taught in school, or anywhere, is how to actually use that legal tender to buy the things that would create wealth for us. And it's really difficult to have money when you're using a financial system that's designed to be spent. And what most of us do with it is spend it, and we buy stuff. And that's what it's designed for. So if you would like to have money, you have to look at that differently. And so what I've found is that by using legal tender to buy things that make money, or to buy things that actually have real value, like gold and silver or land or jewelry or paintings or things like that are really tangible, you move away to some extent from the digital pixels or the digital dots that make up your bank account and the worthless paper money that creates this currency that we use, and you actually begin to accumulate and have things that are really worth something. Now the thing with legal tender is does anybody know where this paper comes from? Where does money come from? It's printed. Who prints it?
Government.
The government prints it, right. So the government has total control over this form of money. So it's their gig. And with the financial system that we have in place at the moment in all of the developed countries in the world, there is an element of inflation built into this system, so that over time the buying power of your dollars, your money, decreases. And in a way it's a sort of a hidden tax where the government can recoup that 3 or 5% inflation, whatever it's running at the time. So over a period of time, if you had, say, some money which you kept as paper money, and over 10 years you went to buy something with that, you wouldn't be able to buy as much as you would when you first acquired that paper money. And the American dollar, in 1971, the Americans changed their money system. They came off what was called a gold standard, where gold was the basis for the money, and they switched over so that the American dollar became the standard, the money standard all across the developed world. All the countries got together and said, okay, we'll have the American dollar and we'll measure our currency against that. And that's a whole story in itself. But since 1971 to this day, the buying power of the American dollar has gone down 98%. So if you had, you know, a superannuation or a retirement nest egg, or if you planned your life so that the money that you made along the way, by the time you got to retirement, was going to be $1 million, you know, your $1 million there would be 98% less value now because of the inflation in the system. So if we keep our money in paper, if we have that as our, you know, thinking that that's our wealth, then what happens is we're constantly losing value. It's buying less and less and less because that's being gobbled up by inflation and the way other things that the government does. So one of the important things to do is, the reason that the price of gold is going up, it's not that the price of gold is going up at all. It's that the buying power of the dollars that we have, every country's dollars, is decreasing, so it takes more of those less valuable dollars to buy the same amount of gold. So one of the things about, you hear a lot of people getting excited these days about investing in gold, and they're making lots and lots of money. And that can be true, and we'll talk briefly about how you actually pick up on that. But the reason the price of gold is going up is that the currencies are being devalued. So 100 years ago, it cost, 1 ounce of gold would have bought you a good quality men's suit. Today, 1 ounce of gold will buy you a good quality men's suit. So the gold has been the consistent thing, and it's the dollars that have moved around. So by buying and investing in gold and beginning to accumulate gold and silver and real things, what you do is you begin to preserve the value of your money as it is now, rather than holding it as paper currency and in 10 years' time it being worth so much less. So a couple of things about gold and silver. There is a way to make money with gold and silver, and we'll go through that. Gold in particular, silver too, there's an energy to gold and silver. There's an energy to gold. It's sort of like, it's not like anything else. It's, for those of you who have had kids or got a partner, when somebody comes into your life, they bring a contribution. There's something that comes into your life that's different than when they weren't there. And it's the same with gold. When you get gold and have some gold in your life, there's a contribution, there's an energy, there's a vibration that comes with it. And because gold is like money, gold is like wealth, it's been money for thousands of years. What I've found is that because I have gold in my life, I don't necessarily suddenly have $1 million showing up, but just generally the wealth of my life is greater. Since I've been buying and accumulating gold and having it, and I don't lock it away anywhere, I have some gold on me now. It's something that I take with me, that I have, it's pretty, I love it, it's lovely to have, it adds something to your life. So buy gold because of what it can contribute to you and your life. Buy gold because it preserves the value of your money. Buy gold because it's fun and it's nice to have. Don't necessarily buy a piece of gold because it's a piece of jewelry and it might be pretty. Buy gold because you can and have it. And buy gold from the point of view that it's not something that I'm going to sell off in 12 months or 2 years' time and make a lot of money out of. Have gold in your life. It adds something.